500 acres of empty Utah desert, a place where a family arrived seeking a clean slate, only to confront something utterly impossible to explain. The ranch owner had faced the harshness of frontier life before, but absolutely nothing could prepare him for what waited on this land. They arrived in the dead of winter, a single truck carrying everything they owned. Their future sealed the moment they crossed the gates. Heavy iron locks on every single door, heavy locks on every window. Someone before them had feared something terrifying on this property. Midnight. He stood alone on the porch. Two glowing amber eyes stared back from the pitch-black darkness, watching him, waiting. No normal wolf stood on cattle ranches, not here, not like this, not with those cold, intelligent eyes. Face to face, man and creature, the beast showed no fear, only a chilling sense of recognition. Dawn brought impossible evidence, precise markings on the ground, surgical precision. No known animal could produce this, none. His wife sat alone in the kitchen, the coffee growing cold in her hands. The crushing weight of her family's safety changes everything. 3 blinding orbs of light moved across the dead sky in perfect formation. The family stood together, watching, knowing they were no longer alone. A massive, roaring aperture opened in the sky, emitting a light unlike anything terrestrial. Their reality had just been violently rewritten. They held their departure papers with trembling hands. After 18 agonizing months, they could endure no longer. The ranch had won. The billionaire buyer was accustomed to building global empires, but this sudden acquisition wasn't about property. It was about absolute proof. Scientists arrived with heavy equipment designed to measure the unmeasurable. Cameras, sensors, sheer determination. The investigation had officially begun. Thermal imaging captured what daylight desperately tried to hide. Unusual signatures, unexplainable readings. The cold data was now undeniable. The veteran journalist had investigated unexplained phenomena for decades. But this story demanded that the world finally know. The tribal elders stood at the property's edge. His people had known this land's dark secrets for centuries. Now, science was desperately catching up. His weathered hands moved through the freezing air, speaking in his native language, acknowledging ancient forces that Western science is only now discovering. The transformation, the old legends spoke of it, flesh becoming shadow, man becoming animal. Tonight, the legend walked completely free. The high-ranking official reviewed the classified findings. What civilians had documented, the government had always known. Millions of dollars poured into understanding the ranch. Night after night, month after month, seeking answers that seemed fundamentally impossible. Security cameras recorded what the human eye could never capture. Massive silhouettes, infrared confirmation, creatures that shouldn't exist, existing. Sudden electromagnetic spikes triggered an immediate response. Scientists rushed into the field, racing toward the anomalies before they vanished into the darkness. Advanced cameras finally hearing what the property had proven. His hands held the research document. Thick pages, decades of findings, and a scientific record that would change how humanity understood reality itself. News crews descended on the ranch with cameras everywhere and satellite trucks lining the road. The story that was once dismissed was now headline news worldwide. The original farmer sat in his quiet living room with the television glowing. His aged face showed something he never expected to feel again: vindication after all these years. His wife sat beside him, both watching and both remembering. Decades of doubt and dismissal were erased in a single broadcast, their experiences finally acknowledged and believed. Ray sat at the witness table with elected officials listening. The scientist presented truth to power as the government confronted what it could no longer deny, concern replacing skepticism as the implications settled in. What exists on this soil cannot be explained by conventional science. Construction crews broke ground at the property for a federal facility with government funding, the private mystery becoming a permanent institution as the nation invested in understanding the unknown. Ray stood on stage with an award in hand. Decades of dusty field research, culminating in international scientific recognition for the skeptic who became the foremost authority on the unexplained. Eva stepped forward to lead the expanded team. The young scientist who arrived as an assistant was now commanding the investigation, the next chapter belonging entirely to her. Confidence earned through years of first-hand encounters, while equipment recorded under new leadership. The phenomenon continuing its pattern of responding to scientific inquiry, persistent, intelligent, and unchanged by human observation. Impossible, according to known physics. Finding the breakthrough her mentor had spent decades pursuing. Golden hour. Reflecting on decades of investigation that transformed fringe inquiry into legitimate science. During their final interview with the sunset behind them, the two men who risked everything for truth shared a legacy conversation defining both of their careers through mutual respect. The elder performed a blessing ceremony at the new federal facility, indigenous spiritual authority integrating with modern science, as ancient wisdom received institutional recognition. Firelight reflected in the elder's ancient eyes as he spoke his ancestral language, acknowledging forces his people had respected for centuries while modern civilization finally learned to listen. During the blessing, lights manifested above the property. Spiritual practice and scientific phenomenon converged, ancient ceremony and modern mystery united in a single documented moment. The owner stood alone at sunset with the property boundary behind him, a peaceful expression revealing that decades of investment and dedication had given him a true sense of purpose. An aerial perspective showed the ranch shrinking below as the research campus glowed and mysterious lights persisted above, the investigation appearing small against the vast landscape but never stopping. New vehicles arrived carrying next-generation equipment and young scientists with fresh eyes and advanced technology, entering a new chapter with renewed determination. Quantum sensors displayed readings never before documented at the site, data implying intelligence and technology suggesting consciousness as advanced equipment confirmed what previous generations suspected. Eva recorded findings in her laboratory with methodical documentation, applying scientific rigor to phenomena that defied explanation. In a paradox she had learned to embrace. An emergency meeting convened with Eva presenting new discoveries to assembled officials and scientists. The atmosphere shifted as phenomena escalated and the investigation reached unprecedented intensity. Scientists from multiple nations assembled at the facility with flags representing global cooperation, the mystery that began with one family now uniting the world's brightest minds. Ray returned to the property as a retiree, walking through the laboratory he had built, while younger scientists recognized the pioneer who finally saw his vision realized by others. Ray and Eva reviewed research together as mentor and student, the knowledge of decades passing to the next generation in an intellectual tradition, continuing unbroken across lifetimes. During an official ceremony, the owner transferred research authority to an international consortium, his property and investment becoming a shared global responsibility for a shared truth. Pen touched paper as the international agreement was signed. Multiple nations committing to a permanent investigation as the mystery united governments across borders and ocean. The elder's grandson stood at the facility with traditional elements blending into his professional attire, acting as a cultural bridge and a new voice speaking ancient wisdom. Museum doors opened to visitors streaming through a public exhibition documenting 30 years of investigation, making the democratic truth accessible to ordinary people. Museum displays told the complete story from the original family to the federal facility, visualizing 3 decades of investigation in a chronological journey through the unknown. The annual symposium brought together witnesses, scientists, indigenous elders, and officials around the shared mystery, honoring every perspective and hearing every voice equally. The original farmer walked through the gate for the first time in decades, his weathered face showing deep emotion as the land that drove him away welcomed him home. His wife stood beside him before the audience as applause surrounded them. Their decades of doubt transformed into a standing ovation as they finally received the recognition they deserved. From above, the research campus stretched across 500 acres with multiple buildings and international staff, turning the isolated property into the world's premier investigation center. Eva sat in the director's office with photographs of Ray and the original team behind her, the young assistant who arrived with questions now leading the institution that pursued answers. The lights continued above the central zone in their eternal patterns. Decades of human investigation changing nothing about a phenomenon indifferent to human understanding. The owner stood on the porch in the evening light, a peaceful expression replacing decades of obsession, as the businessman who bought a mystery found lasting meaning. A twilight perspective from above showed the research campus glowing warmly, while mysterious lights continued and the golden hour faded to blue, the investigation persisting through another night. Young scientists arrived in the morning light with eager faces, carrying equipment their predecessors couldn't have imagined as fresh minds met the ancient mystery. A young researcher saw the phenomena for the first time in raw amazement, a moment identical to the original farmer's first encounter decades earlier, producing the same human reaction. The memorial wall displayed every investigator's name carved permanently into stone, honoring those who dedicated their careers together and ensuring their sacrifice is remembered forever. The elder's grandson placed a traditional offering at the memorial, maintaining spiritual respect across generations, as ancient ceremony honored modern sacrifice in a single gesture. At the documentary premiere, the theater filled to watch the journalist's lifetime work projected on screen, allowing the man who first told this story to watch the world finally listen. The owner touched the property sign at dawn, noting the official federal designation alongside the original name as the private ranch formally became a permanent institution. Ray stood alone at sunrise, the perimeter stretching before his peaceful silhouette against the golden light, with a lifetime of investigation behind him and the mystery still ahead. Its ancient knowing suspending the property's defining question in amber, asking if anything here is truly ordinary. Eva pointed skyward toward the invisible structure permanently hovering above, her determined posture signaling next-generation leadership as the questions evolved and the answers waited. Intelligence as the eternal investigation continues forever.